Congratulations to you.
There you go. Hey, happy Friday, guys. It's the Friday before MBA annual. People are filling their dance cards as we speak. Christy, KP, so happy to be back on with you. How y'all doing?
Fantastic. I am actually sitting in an airport. I'm pulling a KP today, and I'm sitting in an airport getting ready to head out to Vegas for Empower and MBA annual. But I want to start with saying congratulations, Brian. I know that you are now officially MISMO president.
Woohoo!
Couldn't be more excited for you and for it.
Yeah, day two. We are working through day two. Yesterday was like all things orientation and computer works. I was able to log in, so we are making progress. I'm so excited to join this team, and it's pretty cool that it coincides right with the MBA annual. So it's like, get activated on the system and then hit the biggest the Super Bowl of mortgage conferences, as KP calls it, in Vegas.
Yeah, is this the October surprise? Like 2 years ago, surprise, credit report costs going up. I like this one better. You're on the board together with me at MISMO, and Jan and Rick have done an incredible job with the board over the years to put this in the greatest position. And I know you're going to take it to the next level. It's so funny how the industry, just like, there are obviously some people that know what it is, but all we talk about is like data driven, this garbage in, garbage out. Data's the new oil. Now it's time to enrich the oil with AI, And there's like a standard way for us to manage our data as an industry. And people just don't know about it. And so I know your LinkedIn game is super strong. So I know you'll help us just take it to the next level.
Yeah, it is. As I've, leading up to this week, I've been just learning as much as I can, and it is remarkable how much MISMO is involved in all parts of the loan manufacturing process, up funnel, post close, servicing, you name it. And to your point, KP, as I've gone around and talked to a lot of people and asked a lot of questions, there's still a little bit of grayness around what exactly is MISMO. And so kind of my first order of business is to, kind of replay my playbook that I did when I got to FinLocker and help, build that awareness, build that education. And this is going to be a little different because, I'm going to be rallying all y'all's support for this initiative, but I'm excited and ready to hit the ground running. And Christy's already heading to MBA at the airport, heading to Vegas.
Hey, everybody needs an extra day in Vegas, right? I say that jokingly. Vegas is not my favorite city on the planet, but I'm excited to see the people that are coming. Like, the attendee list looks really, really good, connecting with us. And I'm hearing folks are taking kind of a little bit of a different approach this year, that it's going to be just a back-to-back meetings, that there are a lot of people making time to really connect relationally, having time for, as Rich Sherminsky puts it, serendipity, planning just to hang out and be around. And I love that this is the kind of approach that we're taking, because some of that craziness of running back and forth is really hard. And this being intentional about what you're doing, I think, speaks to where we are as an industry and how people are thinking about it on a go-forward basis. Not to mention, flying out today means that I get to be at Empower tomorrow.
Yeah.
So nothing like a room full of, 1,000 women cheering and supporting each other.
Yeah, speak for yourself. I'll be roaming around with double espresso in hand, hammering out meetings. There'll be some serendipity. There'll be some times where I get to, maybe watch Pink or Gaffigan or One Republic. But man, this is where everyone comes together face to face for sure. I mean, there's plenty of opportunities around the year, and I've seen a lot of people, my travels. I pretty much been on the road every week since the last week of July, save Labor Day week, and still busy, And what's crazy is, like, the temperature of conferences it's always more exciting when business is up.
Yeah.
And so like there's not gonna be that, oh, we'll survive till 25. Like, I mean, all that BS, which by the way, every year since 23 has been a growth year, and people are crushing it right now. Like, I mean, there are lenders that are doing fantastic, and so it's just busy. And so it'll be a good, we got NAM National. I was going to go yesterday, and I decided my kids' flag football games on Friday was more important.
Yeah.
So I'm not going until Saturday, and then NBA annual, and then I get home Wednesday, and I turn around and go to Nashville for Opryland for AIM Fuse, and then I relax for a week, which we're not relaxing because we got meetings, and then we got Total Expert Accelerate, and then I've got the IMN MSR conference in New York, and then finally I get to chill for like 2 weeks. And then I go to the California NBA's final board meeting of the year down in Laguna. So, it's no rest for the weary. I am fired up. I'm ready. I'm working out.
Your schedule makes me tired just thinking about it.
Yeah. Hey, espresso. I love it. Like James Kleiman puts out some great articles, like what's this, what's your advice for conference? And I saw I just saw a pretty cool one today on the Empower thread. It said, I take ginger root and I take this. And I'm like, ginger root sounds actually kind of cool because I love me a good Moscow Mule before sunset. I mean, to me, it's just stay caffeinated
for all kinds of things.
Yeah, it is good. So, but yeah, the NBA annual is our Super Bowl. It is the culmination of the year, and everyone is on a high. And so, speaking of NBA, back to you, Brian. I mean, MISMO is part of the NBA. I don't know that people know that. I think it's technically owned by the NBA, and we have that. We have the technology and the investment fee that we put in. We've been putting in for years, right, to help us. Everyone's talking about technology, and right now, a lot of tech stacks that we've been building over the years is helping us win at a high level when you get that dip in rates. And so this innovation investment fee is a big deal. It's a big deal for the industry. It helps us push things forward in the same unison. Think like a sculling team, a rowing team. Everyone's rowing in unison. Not the old galleys in the 1400s when someone was standing over you with a whip to make you row. This is like by choice. We want to be fit. We want to be streamlined. We want to be efficient. And I'm fired up. I'm loving it. Of course, I haven't got to Vegas yet. So get back to me Wednesday morning when I got bags under my eyes and I need my 9:30 espresso at 7:30 a.m.
Yeah, no doubt. And so, Christy, can you help for the folks that aren't aware of what the Saturday agenda looks like? It's a pretty special day. There's two kind of big themes, right? There's the CMB kind of has a theme, and they do some things for the CMB Society, but then the Empower initiative is really taken over the kind of the Saturday before the official launch of NBA. Just share for the audience, for those not aware, what that looks like.
And so Empower is such a great thing that Marcia, this was the brainchild of Marcia Davies. And I can remember the first time that we did an Empower event, and then they got everyone at the conference together, and we all fit in the back room of a restaurant. Now, it was a big back room. It was still the back room of a restaurant. And that has now grown to an entire day instead of just simply a dinner. It has grown to an entire day of learning, empowering, sharing, and there is so much energy. You walk in and they hand you a glass of champagne. I mean, who doesn't want to start the day off with a nice toast to the women who are around you? And there are actually a lot of people who come in simply for Empower that don't end up staying for, all of NBA annual. So it's great that they do it the day before, that it's on a Saturday. So we get a lot of loan officers and other women in the industry, operations staff and personnel that make the trip out simply to be there for Empower. And there's always an educational component to it. There's a lot of rah-rah and support, but there's always that educational component where people are talking about, what do you need to know about the industry, or what do you need to know to make yourself a better leader? And then there is a lot of time to connect with other women, get to know each other. And there are, of course, men in the audience too, right? There are supporters and encouragers and sponsors and, the things that make the day possible. But you will walk out of there feeling so pumped up that you're ready for the next 3 or 4 days at NBA annual, or you're ready to come back to your business and do something really cool. There's usually an opportunity to also get your makeup done and get a new headshot made. All the things that you kind of need to get done. And I love that. I think last year there was 800 or 900 women at the event, and I think there's a similar number this year, right? So it's pretty exciting to see. And then, of course, CMB, amazing race, and then the CMB meeting early the next day.
And that's like before the official kickoff of the conference. You've got like literally, 30 hours of programming that's happening before the conference even kicks in. Pretty wild.
What session are you most looking forward to, KB? I know you spend a lot of your time connecting with people, but do you have a session you have picked out? Brian, do you have one?
I'll tell you this. I think a lot of people realize we've had a family health issue over the last few weeks. So I've been really prioritizing and dealing with that, which has been a blessing, and thankful for this industry, for Christy, for you and KP and all the support. We're in a good spot. We are in a really good spot with Devin. But I've been less like laser focused on the sessions. And this is the first time I'm attending MBA where I am not managing my calendar. So Amy Moses, who's a teammate at Mismo, has been really driving my calendar. So I'm feeling like a little bit lost, but she's got us dialed in. And in this new role, I will be in most of the committee meetings that happen over the course of the week. And so normally I would attend maybe the capital markets committee and maybe the loan production committee typically. And back in the day, KP and I were both on the wholesale lending committee. But now I'm going to be in all of those committees, which I'm really looking forward to, because it's just it'll be a different experience for me.
Love the fact that you and your family and all of your friends and everybody rallied around you and Devin the last few weeks. Really puts things in perspective, right? And I'll just touch on Empower. I saw my first Empower luncheon at the Social Survey Wow Summit maybe 7 years ago, and it was Marcia and Teresa Bazemore, and she, I believe, was still working at Rating at the time before she took the Federal Home Loan Bank position, and it inspired me to go back and just set up the PRMG Women's Advisory Council, and then also be intentional about lifting women up at our company. I mean, look, I got 3 daughters, right? So I want them to have a better place when they get out there, and so we just added. We replaced a woman on our senior management board with another female, and then added another position of a female. So we've been stacking our senior management board. So that inspiration has lasted, and Marcia, the Empower legacy, has continued to, make its ways in our organization. And it's been incredible. So yeah, we've got flag football tonight and soccer tomorrow morning. And then, I make my way into NAM and go work the booth and work the parties. And I had like 5 golf offers. I turned them all down. I just don't have time for a round of golf. And I remember Teresa saying at that first luncheon, all these MI things, they would do all this golf. But what am I supposed to do? I don't like golf. There are some women that like golf, but it made me resonate that like sports analogies and sports culture and, coaching leadership on the sales side is, the hustle culture and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't resonate with everybody, men or women, but certainly a lot of women, if my wife had to work while also having 4 kids, I mean, obviously I'd have to do a tremendous amount at my house to be present and help her also work. And so hustle culture doesn't always resonate with women. I'm not going to be outworked and make more phone calls and like that kind of stuff. That's great, but it doesn't resonate with everyone. So, the relationship part of building this business, like Christy said, is super important. And that's why this is the Super Bowl of conferences. Everyone's there. You get a chance to break bread with everyone, make eye contact, shake hands, say, see you next year. Even if it's just in passing while hustling from meeting to meeting 15 minutes late with an espresso in hand, guilty. And I'm super fired up about where this industry's going, where we're at. And it's only going to get bigger and better.
I love it. So I'll add this and then
I do too. I love it. Go ahead, Brian.
Christy. No, you go.
No, go ahead, Christy. You're in the airport with delayed signal. You need to sign language.
There are two sessions that I'm really looking forward to. And one is with Sasha Stair. They're both on Tuesday, shortly, after each other. One is Sasha Stair and what she's going to talk about with, she's the CMO at Zactus. And I'm really looking forward to the stuff she's sharing. And then the second one is Wendy Lee, who's going to talk about AI and the efficiency of our business, the way that we face operational challenges, how we look at recruiting LOs, how LOs do their business every day. So I'm really excited to hear what she has to say about the regulatory environment and how we can implement AI on a positive note.
Yeah, I'm definitely there to see Sasha. We just had our Zactus Customer Advisory Board meeting in Charleston. Had a great 2-day break bread session with that group and Sasha, and I'm able to catch about 30 minutes of her session. I've got a lunch meeting and then another meeting after, and then of course I've got my panel that I'm on that Jake Vermillion is holding. So we, there's a lot of great sessions. I mean, we have a booth at NAM National and Caesars, which I'll go by and help work on Saturday until 6, and then, up until 2 on Sunday, and then, Paul Lucido, our CMO with Ginger Bell, is speaking from 2 to 3 at Caesars. Then I have a meeting with the Broker Action Coalition, then rush back to Fontainebleau for the 4 o'clock Brett and Tony, Marina Walsh session, which is incredible. Just had our PGR, peer group review data. Marina and Garth and team led that, just going through data and seeing how things are going. Tech spend just goes up and up and up. It's like tax and insurance and home prices. And, where's the ROI, right? And so are we getting it right now? Are all these changes we've made in tech, our CEO, Paul Rosso, like many other CEOs, is old school, is like, all right, KP found a new shiny toy. Yeah, well, I vetted 100 of them before we worked on this one, right? So, but, CEOs and people that manage money and those of us that are in ownership, we want ROI on our tech. We don't just want tech for the sake of tech. How does it drive your customer experience, bar experience, your originator experience? Christy alluded to the recruiting experience. There's so many different things that technology can help us with. And I think right now is kind of a prove it moment, right? What have we done to date to prove the tech helps us streamline our processes, in a market right now when it's super busy. Friday Harbor, just mentioning one off the top of my head that came up this week. They're underwriting files in 30 minutes using tech that they built on AI. 30 minutes. And so what's that going to do for our business? And, there's a lot of great tech out there. I just use that one as an example because that 30 minutes just stood out in my mind like, oh my gosh, we're going to crush it in 26 as an industry. So it is a prove it moment. And, but there's also some things that are same as it ever was. Be human, make contact, build relationships, build your ability to build contact, if you're an originator or a realtor. And again, the time is now to prove it on all the stuff we've done to date.
Yeah, to me, when you think about like the expanding tech stack, the biggest challenge right now for lenders is adoption, right? User adoption, because you're spending the money on this tech, and if it's not getting used, then you're not able to spread that cost across that user base. So I think, to me, the biggest thing is it's all about adoption. And if we're talking about, up funnel tech, where the loan officer is the adopter user, that's arguably the hardest cohort to drive scaled adoption in. And I think that's what I'm excited about going forward, is for those of us that have been on that tech vendor partner side, kind of getting tighter with our lender clients on maximizing adoption and finding ways to make it less painful to adopt.
Well said.
That's super important. And when we think about the challenge of adoption, we have to show the value in it for why you should change your habits, right? We are all creatures of habit. KP, you talked about your CEO and he looks at it old school. Don't we all look at it old school? We learned a way to do it and that way works for us. And if we're going to risk our paychecks as LOs on something, we got to know it's still going to work, and we're not going to create havoc and devalue a relationship with a referral source. So it's really important for us to demonstrate as leaders why we've chosen the tech and how it is really going to help them improve that it actually does the thing we say it's going to do. Either that or we're never going to get the adoption that we want.
Yeah. And adoption, it isn't just, it's on many different levels. I'll give you an example. So we've been on capacity for 5.5 years. We rebranded it. It's called Moby, My Online Business Intelligence. Year to date, 70,000 tickets, emails, questions have been deflected one time in like 2 milliseconds with an 82% success rate. And then of course the other 18 goes to maybe you go to somebody and then someone looks into it. So do I need an army of customer service people internally handling all of our digital marketing and digital lending requests and our deal desk requests? Think of all the FAQs that get asked throughout our company. We just hired 20 people last month. I do closing comments every new hire orientation. And this last session, we had 20 new hires. My guess is in the spring, we'll have, we'll be ramping up more and more of that. We're hiring, which is great. Bucking the trend from all the labor reports, even though no labor has been coming out because the government shut down. There, 22 minutes before I brought up government shutdown. But, we have 180,000 tickets year to date in 14 other email ticketing queues that have not adopted capacity, just for a couple of reasons. One, it isn't like super technical, like, hey, my computer is on fire, I need someone to call me. Literally the smoke came out the back, right? Yeah. That's not going to be a ticket you deflect. You got to get someone on the phone and help you, right? Unplug it, do the thing. We'll send you a new computer. But then, who's got the time to build the knowledge base, right? And so, they have this new SharePoint thing where if you put documents in SharePoint, it'll scroll that like a large language model and be our internal chat GPT. And so now who in those 14 business segments is going to own that? So we decided on the meeting yesterday, we're going to have like a librarian for the company and have someone just own it across all departments, and they own the capacity project, which would help us drive more adoption. It's been great. So, that is just one thing, right? Like originaries, of course they use a CRM. It's kind of table stakes, but do they use it?
Right.
Like, do they use it? FinLocker, incredible, best app, borrower experience. How do you drive adoption? Borrowers are apathetic. Originators at times are apathetic. So, how do you get people to change behavior and change their daily routines? Like Christy said, when people are used to doing something a certain way and become creatures of habit. So, we have to have change agents at our company, and progress is not possible without change.
I'm looking forward to seeing the PRMG KP decimal system replacing the Dewey decimal system.
No more paper.
Yeah. What we would be remiss if we didn't touch a little bit on the market, right? I caught one of your videos this week, KP. What?
Yeah, 4%, 4% 10-year Treasury actually closed under 4%. I don't know if we'll get follow through, but look at the 2-year. One thing I had a group I spoke to yesterday, and look at the 2-year Treasury. I mean, we're under 350. Fed funds rate 4 to 425. It's at 4 1/8. I mean, that's 5/8 of clear cut. The market is saying cut 5/8 Fed, right? So the 2-year Treasury is getting lower and lower. It is showing a slowing of our economy, a weakening of our economy, because jobs are weak. And so I would caution people that if the government does open up at some point and the BLS starts to put out labor reports, if you get a positive labor report or 2 out of 3 or 2 in a row, we could see 10-year Treasury spike back up to 420, maybe even pierce back through it. So then we take a little pause, clear out the pipeline, which might be healthy. And, that 2-year Treasury is screaming very loudly that the economy is slowing and the Fed is going to cut and continue to cut. They said so as much this week. And that will continue to compress rates over time. And that's a good thing. It's good for home affordability. It's good for refinance business. I saw over half of loan applications last month. Over half were refinance. So we're in a refinance market, which of course seasonally people don't really buy this time of year, right? Like I'm starting to see all these charts like builder sentiment's down and builders aren't building, and it's freaking October. Okay. Nobody buys in October. Like wake up, like zoom out and wake up and like look, like come this spring purchase season, if rates are still relatively in the same range we're in, 26 is going to be a massive purchase year. And it's already a massive refinance year. I think there's $2 trillion of loans over the 6 coupon. That means 6.25 rate and up. 2 trillion that can refi. 2 trillion. That's a year, right? Yeah. So like anyone that's saying anything negative right now, if they're still talking about inflation or they're still, woe is me, like that's their mindset. They are conservative. They don't have their head out of the sand. Maybe where their work is not the right place. Their leadership is not guiding them. It is an incredible time to be in our business right now. And next year is going to be insane. So I don't know. We have to make up something that rhymes with 26.
That could be our audience challenge for the weekend. Give us the theme.
Get your fix in 26.
Yeah, I agree. Audience challenge.
I love it. Well, guys, we're heading to the bottom of the hour.
Something super positive, because I agree. I think the market is going to
improve. Oh,
we heard you, Christy. Then you hit mute. Yeah. Get that last word, Christy. You're on mute. There you go.
I was just going to. Well, there's so much background noise. I'm trying to go in and out of mute. And I apologize for being in the airport, but I wanted to be stable instead of in a car when I was talking to you guys. But this is such an exciting time. I agree, KP. It's such an exciting time to be in our business. And there's so much opportunity. If you're an originator, I feel, I've said this before, like, when I first got married, I was like, is this really going to stick? Like, I'm committed, but is it really going to work? And after like 10 years, like we really made it. And then after year 30, I feel like for originators, if you're still in this business and you are still doing the work, like this is a great time to be in the business. You have made it and you are going to see the fruits of your efforts coming into next year. So don't slow down. Continue to make those calls on your referral sources. Continue to make your database calls. Continue to do the things that are the blocking and tackling, because it will pay off for you in 26.
Love that. I'll give my last word as I wrap up my day 2 with Mismo and prep for the MBA. I am so looking forward to kind of seeing and dapping up all the peeps, all the mortgage peeps at MBA this week. And then I'll put my fair warning out to the audience and everybody else on LinkedIn. It's all hands on deck. We are going to do our best to educate and teach you more about Mismo and help you understand the power of Mismo, because it literally is everywhere in every part of the loan manufacturing process. And so that's what you can expect from me going forward. KP, I'll let you close us out, bud.
Get your fix in 26. You got 3 trade shows coming up, 2 in Vegas, 1 in Nashville. I know there's some other ones towards the end of the year. I'm also really excited for our California NBA final year board meeting. There's a lot going on, and regulation as well. And so we'll keep everyone apprised of it. Congratulations to Paul Gelati. He is the new CEO. Susan Milazzo, over 20 years on the organization, still consulting for a year, make sure we have a smooth transition. The winds of change are blowing, and it's a good thing. Leaves turning over. The industry is getting a little pruning, so we can come out, flush and green, heading into 26. And by the way, for those of you in Michigan, like Brian, and like Brian, you stay evergreen all year round, brother.
That's right. Shout out Eddie Perez. It's time for the new guard, as he says.
Oh yeah.
All right, guys. Well, safe travels to Vegas to everybody. And we'll do this again next Friday, 1:00 Eastern. Chrisman Commentary presents The Last Word. See you guys.